All right, welcome back. This is a special edition of the Crimestoppers report. Now, we bring you this report every single week to teach you, the community, how to stay safe and how to help our friends in law enforcement and make the island a much safer place to be for all of us here. And we have a special guest this week, the Honorable Senator Eileen Yamashita. She joins, of course, Officer Paul Tapao with the Guam Police Department. Hafa to you both.
Hafa. Thank you for having us.
Okay, well, Senator, it's interesting because in September 2011, you introduced a bill establishing the school Crimestoppers program and everything like that. So let's talk about the evolution of it and how it's going so far.
It's going really well with great people like Officer Tapao here. It really does take commitment of the police officers and the schools, but we were talking once and somebody said, across the nation we find that school Crimestoppers really helps address crime. And so we did a lot of research and we found indeed that it does. And I think the most appealing part of it to me was that it enables our students and our teachers to be able to be involved in prevention of crime. So when they hear something they know is wrong, or they think something might be wrong, they are now able to pick up a phone, they're able to text, they're able to email Crimestoppers and say, this is what I think. And it's just like Guam Crimestoppers, but it's at the school level.
Mm-hmm. Now, Officer Tapao and I are the same age, Senator, because we can remember back when we were in grade school, back then Sergeant Phil Dennis would come out to the schools and he would actually make visitations and say, this is what you can do if you see that something's going wrong in your neighborhood. And for a long time, by no fault of GPD, but that was missing in our community and everything. So Officer Tapao, what would you say about how you're getting involved in the schools again and how has it resonated with the children?
Well, it's been actually overwhelming. The schools, they've been accepting it. We're full stride with the program. The students have been openly accepting the program itself of the School Crimestoppers program. I can't express the thank you again to Senator Yamashita for authoring this bill. This is something that we need for the kids. We needed something to give the kids the ownership to take back the school, to be a part of that school, to be that positive image within the school. And with the introduction to School Crimestoppers, it took off. It took off, and it's our second year into it, and we have a lot of plans lined up for this school year. So it's been great. It's been really great.
Well, let's talk about that now, Senator, because 2 years in, what type of students are being reached out to, and who does it affect most? Because obviously, when kids get to the high school age, they're learning about leadership and having a sense of what it means to be a Guamanian, regardless of ethnicity, and have some responsibility as members of their community. Where do we go from here?
Well, first let me say that it is at all of our schools. Mm-hmm. And so beginning with our elementary kids, it's, you know what's right, you know what's wrong. And if you think something's wrong, then you need to do something about it. And so GPD has done great training with all of our school personnel. And our Board of Education has their board policy in place. So where do we go from here, to get to your question? I know the officer has some really grand ideas to further root that notion of responsibility, of doing what's right, and trying to keep others from doing what's wrong. And so he was just sharing some community events that are coming up. And so we're very excited about them. Whatever we can do to support, that's what we want to do. But it is about more training. It is about more awareness. It is about responsible decision making. I was at one of our middle schools today, and again this morning they were broken into. And we knew it was an inside job because the doors were not broken, because they had, at this school they have all the cameras, the surveillance on, and this person succeeded in turning off that camera. So we know they knew exactly how to do what they did, right? So somebody in that school knows, and hopefully they can call or send a text and say we know. So it's really about more awareness, more training, and just teaching kids to do the right thing.
Yeah, and what's unique about the program too, Jason, in itself is that I teach the kids and I show the kids that if we can get 30,000 eyes and ears to be the parenting of their school. I mean, 30,000 eyes and ears, that's a lot of eyes and ears, and that's a lot of information that we can receive. If we get information coming from the students, I mean, who else will know better about a crime than the students themselves? So the program in itself is perfect timing for our school system and our development of our school system. So it's actually fitting well within the OE school program.
Okay. Well, I think it's also fair to say, let's cover the glass is half empty side of it. Now, what are some of the areas of pushback that you're both experiencing? Because young kids, they're so impressionable and they're like, well, I don't want to narc
Right.
on, like my friends, because I know they're involved in some bad stuff, and or they feel peer pressure.
Yeah.
You better not say anything and everything.
Right.
So, like, what are you guys seeing in terms of?
I think the first pushback was by the school leadership in thinking, well, this is yet another program, yet another initiative that you're expecting us to do. It's the 100th thing to do it in 1 hour. And what we explained to them was, you're already doing this. But what it does do is gives you a structure to work with GPD so that if there is crime committed, they'll move right on in and take on over. So that was the first pushback. And so it took a lot of communication. Christopher Anderson, the administrator of Student Support Service, has been an excellent support of all of our students. And so he plowed through and through a series, I think, of 2 superintendents it took us to get this activated. So that was the first pushback. The second is what you're saying, and that is families. I'm not sure if we really should call. Should we trust? Am I going to be in trouble? Will they know? And I think what we're showing them is that it is anonymous and that you are going to be protected. And if there's an award, only you and your family will know. And so that whole anonymity is real crucial to protecting the students, to make sure it's going to be okay. That you have to do what's right. But if you're scared, especially if you're turning in a family member, that's really scary. And unfortunately, right on our island, we've had some family partnerships, right? Where the mother will drive around the kid and go steal that. Or we broke into Emiluhan. It was a dad-son partnership. Those are just things that shouldn't happen. So
yeah, she hit it in the head. She hit it pretty much where we tell the kids, I come up with the approach that, you're not a snitch. If you take the first letter out of the word snitch is S. And I tell them, I break it down, you can become super just by doing the right thing. You can actually make a difference, not just your life, but in the lives of the community around you. So the different approaches that we take with the School Crimestoppers program and how we present it, we teach them that anonymity, you're becoming super, you're becoming proactive in your school. So it really works well with the school.
And then being stewards of their own community.
Yes.
I mean, there's a sense of ownership that, like I said, like a lot of kids don't really develop until they get to their high school years, but everything. But are you seeing the same level of success, like maybe at the elementary and the middle school level?
I want to share this story with you. Over the weekend, the wife and the family and I, we had breakfast right after church, and a bunch of kids stopped by right when we were about to enter the restaurant, and he greeted me. It was Officer Tapao. You don't remember me, but you came down to PACE, JP Torres. I took a step back and I was like, yes, I was there. I did a Crimestoppers presentation. He came up and he came up and he told me in front of my wife, you made a difference. I graduated from PACE and I'm back at my school. All I have to do is finish my probation and I'm going to leave this island. I'm going to graduate and move forward. Did that make a difference? That's a kid from alternative school who actually remembered my presentation about the School Crimestoppers program. So if I can change one person's life or idea about how they perceive the school and how they can take ownership in the school, then I felt that I succeeded with that program.
And that's how it starts.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Well, thank you so much, Officer Tapao. And Senator, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, thank you both. Now stay tuned because Weekend Edition will be back.